Hi, Donna with Xeikon here. Today we're talking with Mike Vitale. He's the president of the employee-owned GBS company. Mike, welcome. So great to talk to you today and get a little bit more information about GBS.
Oh, thank you, Donna. Much appreciated.
So Mike, it's a 50-year-old company. You just celebrated your 50th anniversary?
We did. We actually, our 50th came in 2021, but unfortunately, due to COVID, we procrastinated the celebration to last year. And so we're coming up on actually 52 years here soon enough. So
congratulations.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So Mike, just share a little bit about the company and the customers that you have and the solutions that you offer to your customers.
Sure, would love to. We're 50 plus years in the business, and it's funny, but the company was originally founded just on the idea of information management, and that information at the time, in 1971, was those carbonless forms where you have the pink, the blue, the yellow sheet, they'd all copy down to the next, and it was founded on a couple large organizations, in the Midwest area, and then from there. It's always been about managing people's very critical data. And over the years, we've evolved. We added a computers division when the original founder, thought I better get one of these things called a computer and start to, manage my internal data. And then when he bought one, he didn't really like the service he received. So he called the company and said, hey, if you're ever looking for another distributor, we'd be happy to do it. And so next thing you know, we have a whole computers division that's continued to evolve over time and gotten into electronic medical records to revenue cycle management. We have a credit card processing system called Pay Cafe, and we've even gotten into affiliated marketing in that space, and certainly a lot of cybersecurity protection and a great presence in the healthcare industry. And then we acquired a file folder manufacturing company because, well, where do you put those forms, right? They went into a folder. So next thing you know, we were producing folders and selling those through the distribution chain. And, in that time, we had to buy the labels that wrapped around the tabs to get your alpha or numeric color-coded system. And, his same original founder and owner thought, I'm tired of paying for these labels. I think we should make them. So bought a labeling plant that was down in Clearwater, Florida. And, we had a large presence in the pharmaceutical and or med device space down there. And over the years, about, I'd say maybe 8-10 years ago, we ended up moving all that equipment up here to Ohio, and our headquarters is in North Canton, Ohio. And then we have 2 manufacturing plants, equidistance in different directions, with redundant capabilities for label production and other packaging products like instruction sheets and or IFUs with offset sheet and roll-to-roll presses. So printing really is in our DNA. Over 50 years of print experience, we're poised to help brands like yours, right? Securing your products, for example, from counterfeiting, which is an application that we've really become experts in and spent a good amount of time and money getting into that position over the last 8-10 years, because we recognize the need that our valuable clients had to protect themselves from this illegal activity, and the losses that account out there are astounding. When I looked at some of the data, and understanding that roughly $4.7 trillion is anticipated to be counterfeited goods here in the last year. And I guess to put that onto a scale, that would make them the 4th largest economy in the world, right? Would be counterfeited goods. So, understanding that is happening and what it's costing, our clients, we wanted to really develop a strong, flexible, and adaptable to any budget solution. And honestly, I think just through our in-house label printing capabilities and our strong network of business partners, allows this endless brand protection possibility.
Mike, you just mentioned about your endless network. I was going to ask, how do customers find you?
I always refer to GBS as this hidden gem, in North Canton, Ohio, that, we're working lately on building a better brand identity, but we've always kind of been a secret sauce and stayed behind the scenes, and didn't really push ourselves out there as much. We have a direct sales force. We're pretty large, stemming from Michigan all the way to Alabama and to the east. So I'd say predominantly east in the Mississippi coverage, but we have programs that are certainly national and global programs, where it's a single source supplier due to the sensitivity of the information. And so we're shipping all around the globe, but, we've got a presence on social media that's growing. We're looking into radio ads as we speak, to continue to promote ourselves and build a better brand identity, but also, of course, for recruitment, especially for our manufacturing facilities. And it's not the easiest thing anymore to find, workers who really want to be a part of an organization that is producing labels. It's just they're not everywhere, so we're really looking to promote ourselves and make sure people understand that this 52-year-old company is 100% employee owned, and the culture that creates, where everybody has stake in the company, everybody has ownership. It's a family oriented culture, and it's amazing that I've had the joy to actually be a part of some retirements that lasted over 40 years of service to the company, just in the last couple of years. So we certainly do have we're sticky, as we like to say in the label world. Usually when somebody comes to the team, they find it difficult to leave, because of how everyone's treated, but also that nobody's just a number. Everybody matters. Everybody has a direct line of communication to any employee in the organization. And, we're very open-minded to ideas and ways to evolve and grow. And so, with that, we're always looking at the latest in print technologies. We work with folks to create a highly advanced custom design brand protection solution to fit their exact needs and budget, like I mentioned. So, realistically, whether you're looking for something that's anti-counterfeiting, it's tamper evident, even with traceability capabilities, we're confident that we're able to build a solution. And, we found them in the drug, the pharmaceutical and med device space, military and aerospace for sure. Industrial or chemical, I'd say manufacturers is our largest percentage when it comes to the industries we serve. And then food and beverage, of course, electronics, clothing and apparel. I mean, those are all consumer goods. Those are the types of areas, if you will, that we've had a lot of success. But then, another area we've seen grow substantially over the last couple of years is the space in e-commerce, with so many folks deciding not to go out as much and purchase more online. It's simpler, it's safer, et cetera. So there's been certain spikes there. And then, it's funny, but I'd say an industry that's had a large growth here of late, and there's certainly some large growth potential, is in the cannabis space, which could be sensitive for some. But when you think about, going back to anti-counterfeiting, there is a black market for the cannabis industry, and it's a different world today where, people are purchasing for various ailments, and those are specifically designed strains, if you will, to serve those pain points or depression or anxiety, whatever it may be that's being addressed. And, if you're not getting exactly what you think you're getting, then there's a liability.
Right.
And that's truly,
yeah.
And that's when brand protection matters the most, when there's liabilities at stake, safety, lives are at stake. Think things that go into automobiles, like brake pads or airbags, any of that stuff that saves lives. But also certainly, when you start thinking about anything that has extreme value as well, because I'm aware that there's one of our clients, just on one product alone, they went from losing $10 million a year to counterfeiting to zero from our solution.
That's
So
fantastic.
when you
Wow.
start thinking about that and you think about the very affordable way that we're able to provide them this protection, and it's a shield that just protects them from many different things, whether it be something like gray market diversion, where assigned distributors to territories are selling outside that territory and it's costing the manufacturer money, to tampering, to ensuring that whether it's food, being transferred, on the delivery, whether it, whatever that service may be, to anything that's traveling through the supply chain, to be certain that nobody has tampered with it, swapped it out, changed it, messed with it. That's another type of solution. And then again, of course, counterfeiting, which is our bread and butter, where I feel like an advantage we have in that space. And I'd like to, thank the folks at Xeikon for it, but, we've invested in a press, from them, and that's allowed us to the flexibility that we can create a brand protection solution on any substrate. We're not limited to having to buy specialty materials in a large bulk that once, if it's ever counterfeited, now you got a lot of waste. You have to throw it out. We don't have to order any special material. It can be any substrate because we're doing all our features on press. And whether it's, it could be an ink, like an optical brightener or something like that, specialty ink or a temperature ink that needs a required laser heat to activate it, so it appears. But just using the toner, in the Xeikon presses, the digital presses, we're able to, with the high DPI that those, the output in those is very impressive and just continues to get more advanced, allows for extreme micro features that you need powerful loops to recognize every single DPI, every little dot per inch, but that they're not dots. They can be letters, they can be numbers. And then when they're looked at with the naked eye, it looks like an image. But when you get down, zoom in tight, you'll notice that it's created through different graphical software that we've purchased. And it requires a very high-end digital DPI press. And that's what we've enjoyed, from Xeikon. So, that capability, though, it's easy to change. And what I love most about that is, I've always said that it's great when we develop a solution for our clients. However, once it's out there, it's out there. Mm-hmm. So you have to evolve. You have to be able to make changes on the fly to hit the reset button on the criminal and evolve and stay ahead of the criminals. Right. So, we have art out today that, and I mean, it could be 6 months, it could be a year, it could be 5 years from now, but eventually a counterfeiter is going to start to try and catch up. They're not going to get it. It's almost virtually impossible to match it. However, it could start to be more difficult to catch if it's not being checked properly. And so by being able to say, all right, we're going to change the art and it's going to be rolled out here in less than a week, you've hit the reset button on every counterfeiter out there that's been working for years trying to catch up to this design, if you will, and they got to start all over. So that's the idea. Stay ahead of them, continue to change and evolve.
Excellent.
And it works, and it works well.
Well, I'm of course very pleased, and I'm sure our audience will be very pleased to hear how you're keeping ahead of it, to protect them and protect your company. And of course, Xeikon very much appreciates you choosing our solution to help with that. Can you also say a little bit about the level of support that you've received from Xeikon and how your experience with that has been?
Sure. Xeikon has, representatives that are very responsive, and if we ever have an issue with the press, we've been fortunate enough to not really have many at all. I mean, anytime you have advanced technologies, there's so many different things that could go wrong, and we've been fortunate to really not see many at all. But when we have, you can count on somebody coming on site and solving the issue in a timely manner, and then having advice as far as ways to continue to maintain the press or the parts. And so, we've adapted and learned. We were a Flexo house for decades. And then Xeikon was actually the first digital press we ever purchased. So, we were learning on the job as well, how's best to clean it, and maintain it and take care of it. And I think, knocking on something, but we've been lucky here for some time now and not having any issues with the technology.
Excellent. Thank you. And, of course, the press that you have is one of our cheetah families. So we like to use the phrase, it just keeps on running, right? So run or be outrun. And you certainly have embraced that.
Yes. Yeah. We have, I believe it
sorry.
runs 90 feet a minute. And I know technology has advanced since we bought it, and that was just 6 years ago or so. But it's a very nice press, and it's allowed us to actually create some features that we wouldn't be able to do if we were using an inkjet press.
Yeah, awesome. Good. Any last closing comments for your customers?
Just, if you're an existing customer, thank you. We appreciate you and everything that, you are our best asset. You and our people at GBS are certainly why we do what we do every day and why we care so much. And then if you're a prospect or you're considering, finding a label converter or somebody that's really focused in the brand protection space, I encourage you to look into us. We'd love to have a conversation and learn a little bit more about your pain points and how we can help create a solution to solve those, and maybe even help you with some of your efficiencies through our managed programs.
Great. Mike, thank you. And again, thanks to you for being a very tried and true Xeikon customer.
My pleasure. Thank you.